Hey folks, welcome to another video on the 67 Stang here. So today I'm working on the driver's side floor pan, getting it cut out and cleaned up, and seeing what we've got to work with, and kind of repeating what I did on the passenger side. Although I imagine when we get in there and start looking at it, we're going to find a lot more stuff because it was in worse shape than the passenger side was. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the car and take a look. There, we'll try this again without the fan running. So here we are back in the car. Made good progress, as you can see, on getting the driver's side floor pan cut out. This was in a lot worse shape. If you've watched the previous videos, you'll know this than the passenger side, right? So I've even still got that sitting there. Haven't welded it in yet, but you can see that I've had to go much further up on the toe board area, and then I've encountered some additional problems. But before I get into the other problems I've encountered, a couple of things I want to make you aware of if you start doing the floor pans on your 67, and I imagine it's going to be the same for the 68 Mustang. So let's go down and look. Obviously, when you're cutting, you want to make sure you don't cut through the floor support or the cross member that comes through the transmission tunnel. Those are definitely good things to avoid. And I actually did a much better job this time than I did on the passenger side, not cutting through that. I only got one small nick. Let's see if you can see it. Right, let me get the camera over there, right there, right, so you can see that. So a couple other things you want to note on this side of the car when you're cutting. One is you will have this bracket. This is part of the emergency brake system. There is a lever that goes, let's see if I can get, again, down underneath this. You can probably see this circle, right, if I can do this without getting my hand on a circle right there. There's a pin that goes to a pin on the bottom that a little lever mounts to, and then this is your emergency brake cable that's attached to this handle right here. Get the wiring out of the way there, and goes through the, anyway, goes to here. So you want to be careful of that. You've also got this line right here, which I think is a fuel line. I could be mistaken. It's a fuel or brake line. Either way, it's not a good one to cut. So you want to be careful when you're cutting to not slice through that line. So that's a good thing to note. Also, this brake cable goes through this brace, right? You can see it right here going through to this bracket up here, right, which then goes on that way. So be careful of cutting through that bracket as well. And then of course you've also got this line right here which goes to transmission. I think, I haven't traced it all the way out, I think that's the speedo cable, right, for the speedometer. So you want to be careful of that as well. So a lot of things to kind of look out for when you're doing this kind of stuff. So anyway, I just want to point that out. Now we'll get into the trouble that I found. So, okay, let me explain a little something here. Now you'll probably notice if I look up here that looks like there's two pieces of sheet metal overlapping here. That's because there are. You have the toe board, which is the top metal, and then this piece down here is something called the torque box. At least that's what I understand based on videos I've watched. Okay, so the torque box, I believe, and I could be completely wrong, so double check this if you're doing stuff on your own. The torque box is something that was added to coupes and stuff in 67, from what I understand. I think it was always in convertibles, but not in coupes. Again, I could be completely wrong on that, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. So the purpose of the torque box, or what it does, from what I understand, is it limits body shifting and rolling and things in there, because it ties the outer frame rail, the floor supports and inner, I'm going to call it inner frame rail, the firewall, and all that together, because the torque box is interconnected with all of it. So it kind of it ties all of the pieces and parts together to make it stronger. That's what I understand it to be. So this is the problem I've run into. I already knew this part. So this is the torque box, and then it takes a 90, and then it's got a bottom part down here. Well, I knew that this was rusted through. That part I knew. So I was just planning to, fabricate a piece of metal that came down and here, and then weld that together. That was my original plan. You'll notice right there, there is a big hole. I was not anticipating this. That means this torque box is in worse shape than I thought it was. What I'm going to do now is go to the underneath of the car and take a look at it from that perspective. Okay, so we're getting up under the car here. Say hello to the interior. Hello, interior. Okay, so let's see if I can get this. Here is that bottom torque box. And you can see I've got some rusted metal right here. So I need to cut that out as well. And this goes on around. Let's see if I can do this in a way that makes sense. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to wiggle around and show this to you. But this goes up. This is inside the wheel well. Move the tire out of the way here. Okay. This is up in the wheel well, and this part here is also part of the torque box. You can see it comes up, and there's a seam here which connects to this. I forget if that's part of the firewall or another piece. Anyway, like I said, I don't know. I'm not a mechanic. But you can see this here, right? This part here comes down under the car where we were just looking, right down here, and then back up to the inside, forming kind of a triangle. And you can see, now let me see if I pull back, probably better. You can see right here where this is welded to the frame rail, right? And you can see here where this inner part is welded as well, so it holds onto this floor support here. So it's a pretty important structural piece. So I don't want to just ignore it. The good thing is most of it seems in decent shape. It's just this spot right here that's rusted. Probably been nice. I know they've got these drains, but I don't know if those do a whole hell of a lot. I need to cut that out and at least patch it at a minimum. I don't know what that noise was. Anyway, the other thing on down here that I've done is this floor support was, I had, again, from jacking on it, was pushed up a good bit. And this, where this cross brace that in there for the transmission tunnel, you could see huge gap. There was a pretty big gap on the corners where it was. So I've pushed this down with a nice hammer and got it back in place and flattened it back out a good bit. So it's, whoops, let me show you where it is, right? So it's looking much better too. So I'm very happy with that. So that was a good thing. I had to do that on the other side too, but this one was pretty bad. So we got that beat back down and in place. The other part, I haven't decided. Now I've got, it should be arriving today, is a full driver's side floor pan, goes all the way to the back. What I'm finding is that this edge right here, let's see if I can, this edge right here is, for the seat riser, is pretty shot. For the floor pan, it's not too bad. And under here is not too bad. But I'm still thinking that I may pull that seat riser out because its edge is really in bad shape. So let's move up and go take a look at that. Oh, something else while I was down here that I noticed is this is the underside of my door. It's got a good bit of surface rust on it. You can see how I'm going to try to take care of that too. But it's not too bad. Although I did apparently have a rust spot that I tried to take care of in the 80s right there. So let's go look at that riser. Okay, so this is a lot worse than even on the passenger side. I don't know if you can see how flaky this is. That's the lip to the seat riser. In here is the same way. This part over here I ended up cutting it out right there because it was just so bad. And then we got this huge gaping hole here. You can see a bunch of holes there. So I'm thinking about pulling the seat riser out. We'll see if I do that. I'm gonna have to drill. Oops. Turn this back around. There we go. See if we can see that better. There we go. So I have to probably drill out these spot welds. So I've got those there, and then of course you got to come around back here and do them, and I got to find those on this piece, and of course you got along this seam here. Again, not really worried about this front edge because it's toast. And then I can see about putting another piece of metal in there. I just don't know. That's a lot of work. I'm now getting to the point that I'm really nervous about this. Anyway, I've cleaned up a lot of stuff. Got a lot more cleaning to do, which I'm gonna be doing. But anyway, I just wanted to show you what I found so far, and what I was thinking. So anyway, I'm gonna get back at it as I try to I'm gonna do some more cleaning on the parts, get a game plan on what I'm gonna do for these other things, and we'll see where we go from here. Okay guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, call it a video on this one. Obviously I've got a little bit more work to do. I was able to go in and do a little bit more cleaning. I did cut out the underside of the torque box a little more to get a better idea of what I had to work with. It's not much worse than what I showed you, but it's still some effort. Going to have to definitely replace that. I did not get the seat riser pulled out today because I've got to go somewhere with my wife and see some friends. So with that, again, I hope you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, thumbs down if you didn't. Please leave some comments. Like I said, I'm a complete novice at this. I'm flying by the seat of my pants using YouTube and all that. So if you got any good suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Any help would be greatly appreciated at this point. If there's anybody in the Atlanta area that wants to come help me fix some of this stuff, love to have the help. So again, subscribe to the channel. We're at 68-ish subscribers, so surpassed the year of the car. That's a good thing. And sorry, car going by. Get distracted. Anyway, with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Thanks.